So this is Chanel on the near side. That's the mother of this one. The problem we've had is when she was at home and being driven with another Frisian they've got at home, it wouldn't stand still. Well, you can see I've got it to stand still, but even then, as soon as Ree lets it off the wall, that wants to start getting going. Now I'm having to hold its head there. If I let its head go straight, it will start to turn. Now the problem is with that, it's going to interfere with her daughter. You see there, right? I've only got rubber bits in. They've got no curb chains, no cantilever, just a rubber bit. But you see there, right? I can't have that. It's got to stand quiet. And the longer I can get it to stand here reasonably quiet, yeah, and even come over here, come over, come over, come over. That's very, very good. Getting her just to step over towards this other wall. Nina. So Nina here, the young horse, is doing well. So whilst the young horse has been here, we've put it in a pair. It was here 3 years ago, two years ago anyway, and it, you know, done its basic training, and then it went home for the winter. So obviously wouldn't get driven very much. And stand still. So as soon as she stands, you know, I mean, we've only got rubber bits in, so when we pull on the reins, it's nothing like having a metal bit in a curb chain. Obviously, common sense tells you that it would hurt. You know, the rubber bit doesn't. Obviously, it still must be pressure. No one would argue with that, but it's, you know, the difference between a piece of iron and a piece of rubber, and it's soft rubber. Wendering bits are very expensive, but they're probably cheaper in the long run because you don't keep replacing them. Like some rubber bits will chew easy, these ones don't. You see, I've got a slack rein on her now, and she's standing. So that's not too bad. And the longer we can leave her here, to a certain extent, you've got to leave them here for, you know, a couple of 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and gradually build it up. Well, just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, it was no time at all. As soon as you let it off, it would fight to come round and literally rear up in the air. And, you know, we'll show you a little bit on a film if we've got it. Put it up on the top of the screen. So standing pretty well. They're off the wall, stand still. And I'm just talking to her. The minute she stands, I let the rein loose, you see. Got to be loose. No point of me sitting here holding it and like that. I've got my front brake on. The only reason I've got that on is I don't want her to go and knock her face, and she would do by, you know, jumping forward. She's certainly got a couple of marks on her forehead. So basically what I'm saying is when this one was at home with the older Frisian, she's got unruly. She needed putting in her place and keeping there. Now, it's not corporal punishment, not hitting her, not doing anything like that, but doing exactly what I'm doing now. Say, no, you stand and wait. Wait till I tell you it's all right to go. You cannot have this behaviour. And it was doing it at junctions. So you'd step right out in the traffic. It done it here at the gate, went straight across the road into the hedge on the other side of the road a couple of times. Obviously, we got people watching the road. You know, we're not going to put them in danger, but she put herself in danger, which is silly. So now she's paying more attention. I've got to keep her head that way. I can't let it come over too much, but I'd like her to lift it up like that, and then let me just bring it straight like that, you know, and she still stands. So this is not bad at all. Can you see now I've got it straight and she's standing? Whoa, that'll do. Just stand still. So that's not too bad at all. I'm going to accept that and say, you know, that's fine. I'm happy with that, yeah? There, do you see what I mean then? Now that's exactly what I'm trying to say to you. She has no regard for herself, so she'd bang her head on that wall in front, you see? You know, she'd go up and bang her head, run her head along it, and, you know, just out of pure frustration, I think. It's not temper, because she's got not a bad bone in her body, but frustration. Come on, let's get on. I'm going now. We got to get going. We got to, you know, no. You've got to do what I asked you to do, not what I tell you, not what I make you to do, but how I asked you to do it. So I think you'll agree she's standing pretty well. This one here, you see now, is the youngster just having a little kick out. But can you watch his foot? It doesn't really do anything. It's just he's got these brushing boots on to prevent it brushing, and she finds them irritating. You take them off, she wouldn't do it, is basically what I mean. But she's just brushing at the minute. As she builds a little bit more muscle, her legs have come apart behind. We're sure a little bit different the next time. Speak to the farrier, get him to tuck them under a bit on the inside at the back, and hopefully she won't brush at all, or she won't catch herself. Now, why do I mention that? Well, it's obviously, it's only if she was running loose in the field. You never see a horse brush itself in the field, do you? Running loose, wild horse, just don't happen. Well, not wild horse, but so when you put the shoes on, you get if you ever look at a horse in slow motion, there is a film we've got, you know, where the camera's right down low behind them, and you see their roof don't just come up and come down. It rocks from side to side. There's a tremendous amount of flex on it. So with the shoes and a little bit of weight can bring their legs too close together and they brush. So what we do is tuck the shoe under and roll the shoe so there's no sharp edges to do it. So I'm very pleased with this so far, and I can put her head straight there and she'll still stand still. Stand still. Can you see her when I speak as she stops and listens? Before she wasn't listening in any way whatsoever. And this has been a lot of work to get this horse like this. Now, the lady's coming to drive them, and she must do what I say. Why do I say that? Well, because if she takes them away and lets this horse get away with anything, I don't care what it is, anything. So you're leading it, and it stops to eat grass on the way back to the stable. We just say that's quite often where it starts, in my opinion. So it starts there, so it's disobeyed you, which is no good. For its own safety, you've got to be in charge of the horse. Whether you're on the public highway going around the field, that'll do. Stand still. I see when I speak. What I don't is I don't pull the bit onto its mouth. I let her turn her head so she tries to take the slack up on the outside rein. Yeah, like that, and it just checks her, but there's no pressure on it, you see. That's as little of pressure as I can possibly put on. But the pressure with a rubber bit is nothing like the pressure with a metal one. So that's a lot. But when she goes home, they've got to do, you know, what I asked them to do. So whether it's barging out of the stable door, whether it's pouring the ground when they're tied up, whatever it may be, you've got to go to them, tell them no, stand with them, get them to stop every time they do it. And it takes the patience of a saint. Seriously, whoa, you do. I'll change the tone of my voice and tell her off. You do when I tell you. That'll do. Stand still. So all in all, that's good. Now I'm going to turn them and come out the yard, and I want them to turn quietly. Yeah, nice and steady round. Come round. A tight turn. And coming out of the yard nice and quiet. Oh, this is the other thing, it wouldn't stop. Here, if you look straight across, whoa, if you look straight across the fold, you see a hole in the hedge. That was where I attempted to get through. Stand still. So we're just checking it out. Stand still. I'll wait till I tell you. Stand still. Can you see what I mean? Look. And we'd go straight through the hedge. So we let them come round. So we're getting there. I'm not saying by any means it's perfect. We're getting there. But the lady that owns them is a small person. And obviously, there's a great deal of difference in the strength that we'll have. And we can't let her do this, what she's just done. So she's pulled forward. And we can't let her do that. On the other hand, she stood in the yard. That's the longest time she stood in the yard, I think. But so, you know, they're happy with traffic. We've had them down in the middle of town. This young horse, we broke it single whilst it's been here, put it in the pair. We've also done it for riding, and we've driven it single all the way to Andover, around Tesco's roundabout in Andover, with an open bridle, a riding bridle in other words. So with heavy traffic all around it, not a problem at all. Well, we do that with most of the horses that come if they're going to be done for riding as well. Because otherwise, if you do them, you know, the other way, you do them and you start sitting. The world's a different place when they haven't got any blinkers, isn't it? So they're better to do it here, you know, whilst I'm doing them for driving, just remove the blinkers so they can see all around them. So that when the rider gets on, Katie, who does the backing, they're already used to that. If you take the blinkers off the first day when you're trying to work on them for riding, it's not as easy. Just so they're walking lovely. So we've had one little mishap there. Well, not mishap exactly, but I don't want to pull on their mouths on any horse. I certainly don't want to pull on the mouths with these, because if I let them win the day again, it's a horrible thing to say, win. It's not a competition who's winning or losing or anything. But at the same time, if I can get them to do what I want off my voice and my hands, that's better than all the other wonderful things people come up with, hitting them, smacking them, you know. I've heard all sorts, well, you know, leave them with no water for all day, and then, you know, no good. You can see these horses are well fed, fit, up together, and they can march on and cover the ground. This mother and daughter team, without any question, they can definitely cover the ground. You know, a lot of people say Friesians are lazy, but that's not true at all. I've never found it true. But where they come from, if you think about it, in Friesland, you know, where they come from, or the low countries basically, it's all flat. There's very few hills. So the consequence of that is, once the vehicle's rolling, it doesn't really take. They haven't got to throw their weight into the collar to get it up a hill, have they? So this is nice now. So what I'm going to do now is just go Whoa. Stand still. That is absolutely superb. So we're getting there. The horse would not do this. Make no mistake, this would be trying to turn around and go home. It would be rearing, definitely, rearing, going up on its hind legs. So much so that you'd worry that it got its leg over its own pole chain, because it bend itself right up. But there you are there. Walk. Walk. Gonna go away at the walk. And now we're going to ask them, okay, babe, trot, trot. And I'll get them to jig, look. Jig, 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 jig. Come on, come on. Jig, 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 jig. Hop, jig. Hey, come on, jig, jig, jig. Jig. Change the tone of my voice, so I'm not happy with you. Do what I asked you to do, please. Just change the tone of my voice. So steady now. Just walk. The purpose of that jig, that jig jog, very, very slow trot, has no purpose really. But why I do it is because it has no purpose. They'll probably never do it again, but if they'll do it when I ask them to do it, although it makes no sense to them because you can trot, what we say to them is tell them to walk on, trot on, or jig, a canter. We always canter them. People say you should never canter horses. I don't, well, all I can say to you, I've had quite a lot of horses of my own, and I've always done a lot of breaking and training of horses. Well, take Rolo, the last horse we had. He was 26. He certainly worked I would say 6 days a week. Often worked 7 days a week. His head was always up in the air. He was always happy to go to work. He'd cover the miles. He'd do a lot of miles, and he would definitely canter on the road. Well, 3 or 4 times a week. When we was teaching another horse, if he was needed to teach another horse. I mean, a lot of them we do just, we don't put them up alongside. It's only if they're a bit overweight and stuff like that, they're better off. You're better off. You can take them further by letting your schoolmaster do the work, help to keep them straight and in line a bit because they know the job. And therefore, if they're not working, the baby that's learning is not working, they got time to have a look around, see everything that's going on, and they're not doing it because they're tired. That's no good. They've got to be up and fresh. Well, the best way is to let the schoolmaster do the work, i.e. take the vehicle along, and the other one just trotting by the side, and every step it takes, it's learning. Look. So this is good, this is nice. So what I'll do is bring this horse up now, just by touching the rein. I'll ask the mare to come up, the mum come up a bit, and leave the other one loose in the trace. Can you see? So she's doing the work, and the other one's got a loose trace. Yeah, floppy trace. Come over, baby. Are 2 lovely, lovely horses.
There's a smile on my face every time I hear that sound. The rhythm of the hoofs as they touch the ground. And there's no better place I'd rather be than with my safe, confident home.